zero added to that figure.
Well, I hope not.
All right.
I hope there weren't any zeros
Zero.
added, accidentally. That could be a problem. Anyway, here's the weather for today. I know you want to know whether you can go out and do your rounds in a dry atmosphere. Well, it's going to rain. It's going to be about 22 degrees, partially cloudy all day long. The highest temperature today will be 28 degrees at the peak of the day, and then when you go to bed, you'll have to wrap up for a nice breezy 25 degrees all night long.
Is it going to rain every day in September?
Uh,
Weatherman.
God, so for Daryl, this one you have to bring us the answer. So please, we have given it to you as an assignment.
Yes, sir.
You know when you ask your teacher a question and they don't know the answer, and they give it to you as an assignment. So please, tomorrow let us know. The 6 a.m. news was brought to us by Total Petroleum. Total will go the extra mile for you. Absa Bank Ghana Limited, helping you find a way to get things done. Ghana Pay, your money your way. And Sanlam, live with confidence. Now, the Joy Business Report comes up, brought to us by Cal Bank, Forward Together, and Glyco Life Travel Insurance. Glyco, we cushion you for life. It really is the best way to become a homeowner, and it's with a mortgage from Cal Bank. Flexible terms. It's so irresistible. It's designed to support home buyers so that you can buy a dream home. Or maybe you're partially done building. Yeah, you can complete it to your taste with a facility from Cal Bank. Also, you can secure equity from your existing property, and then you get the value of your house as a loan. You also can have Cal Bank take over the mortgage that you have with another financial institution, if the terms are more favorable. So if you're a first-time home buyer, don't miss this great opportunity to invest in your future. Your path home starts here. Get a home with Cal Bank Mortgage and call it your own. Call them on 0800 500 500 or 0560 907 456. Or you can chat with them online on social media platforms and on WhatsApp. You can also contact them via email. It's mortgage@calbank.net. Go to calbank.net to learn more about their mortgage offers. Zero. Let your home be the investment you deserve. Cal Bank, forward together.
And welcome everyone to the Joy Business Report. Coming up this morning, Ghana Revenue Authority allays fears over loss of tax revenue from implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. We hear from the Commissioner General. Also coming up, Ghana's debt restructuring comes up as major precondition before official International Monetary Fund program negotiation commences by end of month. Meanwhile, effective restructuring of the country's debt by the Finance Minister would enable the nation get out of its current economic challenges. We'll hear from a finance expert. Stay with us. My name is Daryl. Thanks for being with us this morning. The Ghana Revenue Authority is allaying fears over the projected loss of tax revenue in the short term due to the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. According to the World Bank, there will be a decline in import tariff for member countries as a result of the trade agreement. But speaking with Joy Business after addressing the Tax Research Network Congress, Commissioner General of the GRA, Reverend Dr. Amishadai Usuamwa, explained that trade among African countries is minimal and the impact on revenue loss won't be significant.
We all agree that the trade between among ourselves currently is not very huge. And therefore, the initial losses are not expected to be very significant. But we cannot say that because of that, we will not plan and strategize. So that as we also integrate, sometimes people can take advantage. And as I set an example, in the case of the European Union, where people took advantage and with the VAT, there were some losses that some countries incurred. We can ensure that we are putting strategies, and the strategy includes making sure that we have the correct technology, the correct procedures, and the correct processes, and then the correct policies that will be implemented to make sure that we have an efficient system that will ensure maximization of revenue, maximization of trade among ourselves.
You had Reverend Dr. Mishadai Uswama, who is Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Present proposals on how your government intends to restructure its debt stock. That's one of the preconditions before negotiations for a program with the International Monetary Fund commences by the end of this month. Here's George Yaffe with details.
Sources close to the negotiations have maintained that the country's rising debt stock will be the main focus of any program that will be put together and backed by the IMF. This is because Ghana's total debt stock of 393 billion Ghana cedis ending June this year has reached levels that can be described as unsustainable. It is for this reason that is why the IMF is proposing that Ghana's enhanced domestic program that is put together should come up with some proposals on how to deal with the situation. Joy Business understands that if government should be pressed with this debt restructuring thing, then it might be forced to take some drastic measures that could affect its ability to borrow on the international market going forward. The World Bank and the IMF are also putting finishing touches on Ghana's debt sustainability analysis. This report is expected to influence the kind of program that Ghana could get. Meanwhile, the gentleman that will be leading the IMF team to negotiate a program with Ghana, Sifani Rodi, is in town. The visit Joy Business understands will afford him an opportunity to familiarize himself with the terrain ahead of the mission visit later this month. He has already met Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta and First Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afare. He will also be engaging other government officials and civil society groups, as well as some personalities. Mr. Roddy, who has been in town for 2 days, should be flying out to Washington, D.C., USA, tomorrow.
And that was George Yaffe's report. Still on this subject, finance expert Dr. Williams Report has indicated that an effective restructuring of the country's debt by the finance minister would enable the country get out of the current economic challenges. This, he believes, will also slow down the current depreciation of the cedi and tame rising inflation. The International Monetary Fund is expected to call for restructuring of the country's debt to reduce the pressure on our finances. Now, speaking to Joy Business, Dr. Pepra, who is an associate professor with the Andrews University in Michigan, US, tells Joy Business restructuring of the debt is non-negotiable to extend the tenor or repayment period.
If the finance minister or the Ministry of Finance is able to do a debt restructuring, it's really going to position us very well as a country to be able to get out of the woes, especially to slow down the current pressure on inflation and also devaluation of the cedi. If you really do an analysis of the inflationary factors, what is really causing the inflation in Ghana is the cedi devaluation. It is about 80% of our inflationary pressures we have. The cedi has devalued almost to stop. We really need to stop this situation.
You had Dr. Williams Repra, Associate Professor of Finance at Andrews University in the US. Turning to other news now, Fairtrade Africa, a subsidiary of Fairtrade International, a global agri organization, lost about $14 million in premiums in 2020. The organization attributed the loss of revenue in the African continent or on the African continent to the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the organization, the pandemic impacted global supply chains and they were no exception. Here's more in this report. According to Fairtrade Africa's annual report for 2021, the organization fell from about $64 million premium earned on its agricultural production in 2019 to $49 million generated in 2020. Cocoa followed by flowers and the highest premium. However, flowers and plants were the highest products of about 4.9 million metric tons, an increase in production from 4.4 million metric tons in 2019. Cocoa was the second highest produced crop, but it fell from 550 metric tons in 2019 to 530,000 metric tons in 2020. Fresh fruit came in third with 370,000 metric tons. Meanwhile, it increased from about 190,000 metric tons produced in 2019. Dried fruits were the least produced crop with 12 metric tons. Fairtrade Africa products are banana, cocoa, sugarcane, coffee, dried fruit, nuts, cotton, tea, vegetables, wine grapes, herbs and spices, flowers, oilseeds, and oleaginous fruits. The report disclosed that premiums earned were used to provide services to communities and provide training and empowerment for workers under small-scale producer organizations and hired labor organizations for fair trade. This, they say, is in the hope of achieving all the Sustainable Development Goals. And that was Emma Davis's report read to you. Now, let's take a trip to the UK where the new Finance Minister, Kwesi Kwarteng, will this morning summon bank chiefs for economy crisis talks. According to Sky News, Mr. Kwarteng, British politician of Ghanaian descent, will use his first morning as Chancellor of the Exchequer to meet the chief executives of Barclays, NatWest, and other major high street banks. UK's economy is one of the hardest hit as a result of the Russia-Ukraine war and the COVID-19 pandemic. The meeting is set to showcase the government's approach to the economy as Liz Truss's administration attempts to respond to the crisis triggered by soaring global inflation. However, the 100 billion plus energy relief package that Ms. Truss is expected to finalize this week is not thought to be a central plank of Mr. Kwarteng's agenda. Back home and to some cybersecurity issues, the National Cybersecurity Authority has called on businesses to pay critical attention to cyber threats. Speaking to Joy Business, an officer of the authority, Isaac Mensah, says social engineered attacks have been recorded as the most common on small businesses. This is because business owners are unaware of cyber threats and risks associated with running online businesses. Based on this, he cautioned businesses to constantly monitor and understand their business processes to avoid being victims.
Somebody wants to do an online business. Is he aware of the risks involved? Sometimes we think that having the business alone or just going online is the safest way to do business because it is not resource intensive in terms of you putting up a shop and all that. Yes, that is there, but the risk really lies in what we are talking about. When you look at the trend of attacks, it's not hacking. They are preying on our intelligence. It's a social engineering attack. So it's about your level and what you know to arm yourself. Once you are able to understand the schemes of some of these people, as soon as they start with the attack, you're able to identify where this is going. Then you are able to stop it. So for me, it's all about awareness.
You heard Isaac Mensah, who is an officer with the National Cybersecurity Authority. Next, have you seen men in African print ties? It seems as though it's becoming a thing these days. Well, you have to give Patrick Ejenketia some credit. The chief executive of Utama Africa has been on a mission to turn around men's fashion with an African touch. He tells us how frustration fueled his creativity in today's episode of the Joy Business Van. Here's a bit of it. Patrick Ejenketia had always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but fashion was not the first option. Patrick started a couple of ventures right after school, including a tourism consultancy firm and an NGO to promote good sanitary practices. But he made no progress and was becoming increasingly frustrating.
I felt like so now even money to board transportation to go about was hard, and you try to find ways, but you don't get them. There was this time where I don't have money, I don't know what to do, but still I kept relationship around positive-minded people who are. So it was just a split of a second, and we were in a bus, church going, and I felt like, wow, why don't we have African print ties?
That was like a eureka moment. Patrick had just discovered an idea that would change his occupation. Full story at 1 p.m. right after the Joy Business Report. Don't miss it. Let's check the markets for you as we wrap up this morning. The dollar going for 9 cedis 97 pesos. The British pound selling at 11 cedis 43 pesos. The euro trading at 9 cedis 88 pesos. On the commodity market, crude oil selling this morning at $91 a barrel after a marginal reduction. Gold fell by more than $7 to open trading at $1,694.82 an ounce. Cocoa also lost $47, trading this morning at $2,369 a ton. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com /business. My name is Daryl. Thanks for listening. The Super